One of the premier rivalries begins a new chapter at Holy Angels in Richfield. We pay an annual visit to the Tri-Metro Conference with two of the top teams over the last several years, the Holy Angels Stars and the DeLaSalle Islanders. Hello everyone, Mike Peden with you once again. Jodi Rehlander, my partner, will join me in a moment. Holy Angels hasn't played a game in over 2 weeks. They were supposed to meet up with Orono before the holidays. Snowy and cold weather put a change to those plans. There's been limited practice time in the interim with the litany of snowy weather conditions, so we'll see how rusty or prepared Holy Angels is. But they do get a key piece back in the lineup in Vivian Carter. She does a lot of work in rebounding, hustle plays. They're not expecting her to come back and put up 20 points per game, although they certainly wouldn't complain about that. But her presence could give the Stars a boost as they prepared themselves for a playoff run. Holy Angels, quite a balanced unit this year. No runaway scores. Kaylee, Caron, Jenna, Buer, Elizabeth Pierce, Kira O'Rourke, all of them can step up. Even Ella Pritchard has improved her scoring prowess. No one player you can key in on, and for a team as deep as Holy Angels, that's one reason why they have a strong mark. Their only loss this season came against Benilde St. Margaret's. DeLaSalle 4-4. They have a lot of younger pieces this year. We saw a glimpse of that in the Minnetonka game. They're back at full strength. Jordyn Johnson in the lineup. Maddy Blaylark having a great freshman season. But the driving engine of this team is Aneisha Scott. 3 20-point games. She's averaging about 4 assists, 4 steals per game. When she is on the floor, the ball movement, the fluidity, the efficiency of DeLaSalle goes up a notch. Even though they're 4-4, they're coming off a couple of wins at the holiday tournament. They played in Moorhead, and they were up big, 17 to be precise, against Benilde St. Margaret's before the Red Knights came back and won by 17. Once this Islanders team and their young core figure out how to finish games more effectively, they could make their way back into the conversation. They were the preseason favorites to win Section 3-3A, and depending on what happens the remainder of this season, they could reclaim that title and hopefully make a return to the state tournament. We'll be back for the starting lineups. You're watching high school girls basketball.
Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting, and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves.
Holloman, good if it goes. Yes!
Game winners.
From James. She's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in!
And everything in between.
Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. That put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching.
Hello, everyone. Mike Peden here, and we have a new voice. Well, not new in terms of sports broadcasting. You may have heard her in the fall. We did several football games together, but our first basketball game, Jodi Rehlander.
Good evening.
Good evening, indeed. Jodi, of course, still a member of the Minnesota Vixen, but you did play some basketball back in the day, if I'm correct.
I was a shooting guard back in the day.
A shooting guard.
Yep.
I was neither. I was neither a shooter or a guard. I usually broke the shot clock. Every time I shoot the ball, I would hit the clock, and then, no, that didn't happen.
Those people are needed too. I think it's always underappreciated how much background support is needed to get the game going.
Precisely. Now, admittedly, your background knowledge, this is your first game.
Broadcasting.
Broadcasting,
yeah.
So we'll get you up to speed. But these two have defined the Tri-Metro for the last several years. Holy Angels and DeLaSalle usually in the conversation to win the conference. And perhaps the biggest meeting came in 2019 when these two met in the state semifinal round in Class 3A. DeLaSalle won that one in a photo finish en route to their state title. Neither team made the big dance last year, but that could change this year. Holy Angels, they're always in the conversation. And DeLaSalle, they've looked different. They've had several coaches over the years, and the roster, obviously, graduations and transfers make a difference. But the Islanders have found a way to stay competitive.
Absolutely. I think youth can always work in your favor. I think that having only one senior and having your starters, none of them be seniors, I think it's going to be a very energetic game.
The starters for the two teams, DeLaSalle will bring Maya McNeil, number 11, Aneisha Scott, number 12, Maddy Blaylark, number 23, Ariana Meister, number 24, and Jordyn Johnson, number 50. Holy Angels, same five as usual, so it's Ella Pritchard, number 1, Kaylee Caron, number 4, Jenna Buer, number 5, Kiera O'Rourke, number 10, and Elizabeth Pierce, number 31. Holy Angels 7-1, DeLaSalle 4-4. But anytime these two meet, throw the records out the window. And again, DeLaSalle played Benilde St. Margaret's well, up by 17, before losing the lead ultimately. If the Islanders can figure out how to finish over time, that could change.
Initially, size difference definitely to the advantage of DeLaSalle.
DeLaSalle certainly has some size with Meister and a crafty point guard in Aneisha Scott, but it's Holy Angels.
Downtown right away.
Holy Angels with the ball.
Good board.
And here's Aneisha Scott. Aneisha put together a solid freshman season.
Good ball movement.
The young guns for DeLaSalle, once they gel, and that usually takes time. Last year they had a couple of senior leaders in Savannah White and Sydney Runsway. They're now playing college ball.
Both teams in a zone to start.
No shot clock today. As you know, that will come into effect next year. Holy Angels with a quick swing set. As you know, Jodi, you can move the ball much more quickly by passing than dribbling. DeLaSalle ball.
What a great feed. That's a nice design play to put somebody right under the basket. Ooh. Yeah.
Cross-court pass a little too long.
Pre-game, we were talking about that pressure of Holy Angels, and that was a direct impact of that. Strong defense on the lower corner.
That is a signature of Holy Angels. Pritchard trying to connect with Pierce in the high-low, and instead, it's a turnover on the Stars. First of two meetings, as is the case with Tri-Metro opponents. The two teams will meet again February 7th. But the Tri-Metro getting some higher-level competition over the years. Visitation is on the rise with Sam Wills, and Robbinsdale Cooper off to a hot start. For the past several years, it was just Holy Angels and DeLaSalle, and that was it.
Parity's great.
Well, especially in conference play, the Lake is the toughest of them all, but if you can get some good games elsewhere, as Holy Angels misses a couple of shots.
Oh, great hands.
Jenna Buer had a couple of chances there, and that is, I'd say, a bailout foul in a sense, because Aneisha Scott was pinned along the baseline. Pritchard bumps her, and free throws, but you get DeLaSalle out of a jam.
Yes. Good tactics if you're in that position. Just dribble out.
A rocky start, though, between the two sides. Kaylee Caron comes up with the strip, and Jenna Buer with the finish. Buer burst on the scene as a sophomore last year.
Yep.
There's that pressure defense again.
Great hands again.
DeLaSalle has numbers, and that's the risk you run when you press and the opponent breaks. Aneisha Scott gets the bounce. Caron for three.
Way downtown. Oh, yes.
The Caron family, they like to shoot threes. Her older sister hit plenty of those. As a Holy Angels student, she's now playing at Missouri Western, a member of the Griffins.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Maddy Blaylark, pass deflected. Jordyn Johnson swings it back out. McNeil for three. Long and
Yeah.
dead ball rebound to Holy Angels, 15:22 left.
When I watch basketball, I always pay special attention to the boxing out and the rebounding. It's an undervalued skill, and so far, Holy Angels winning that battle.
We mentioned DeLaSalle 4-4. They only had one bad loss, and that was against Minnetonka. St. Louis Park, they played them close. Robbinsdale Cooper, that was a close one. And Benilde St. Margaret's, they lost by 13. They were up by 17.
Just goes to show you the record is not always the story.
No, and remember, these players are young, and now they have to take the leadership mantle. And that takes some time. How many times have we seen it over the years? Teams on the rise with young cores as Jordyn Johnson goes to the line. They can hang with the top teams. They just need to focus on finishing. And when they do, wonderful things happen.
Right. Really impressed so far with number 12, Aneisha Scott's ball handling skills. She's gotten herself out of several jams with some nifty dribbling.
She's been doing that for years. The last couple of years on varsity. Jordyn Johnson skipped a year. So she is a sophomore, but by age, she would be part of the freshman class. So I'm guessing she's a smart cookie.
Sounds like.
Much smarter than I am. There's
Jab
Ariana
seal.
Meister.
All the way.
And that is how DeLaSalle is able to make up for that empty free throw trip.
Holy Angels' ball movement skills are impressive. They've got good vision, every one of them so far.
Well, and if you enjoyed this, Jodi, I have a few more games on the schedule. You'll see some fine examples of court vision. I saw one yesterday in Madden Greenway. Here's Aneisha Scott on the take. She'll shoot two.
She'll get the hurt.
Aneisha Scott, one of the rising talents in the sophomore class. Stepped up big last year in a win over Mankato East. Tight game, 7.5 seconds left. She gets fouled, hits both free throws, and gives DeLaSalle the win.
Hits the first one.
She has 3 20-point games this season. The only bad game she had was against Minnetonka. And she also took up track and did quite well for the Islanders. Knocks down both and also does a lot of work with Tamara Moore, a name you might recognize.
Yes.
And DeLaSalle up 6-4 after Aneisha Scott makes the free throws. There's Vivian Carter. This is her first game back after injury sidelined her. She'll launch the three. Long. Kira O'Rourke with the board. Finds Celia Lynn inside for two. Celia has been the leading scorer on a few occasions. Ariana Meister with a quick answer for the Islanders. And Holy Angels running a transition set of their own.
Yep.
Jumper is long. That was number 14, Erin Kennedy. Stars not afraid to go deep into their bench. Here's a deep three. Blaylark knocks it down.
Way downtown. Love it.
That's one thing you'll see, Jodi, that maybe wasn't apparent
when
in
I
your
played,
day.
right.
Everyone shooting threes from about 84 feet. Okay, you can't go 84 feet
Right.
because that's the length of a high school floor, but it feels like it.
Right.
You'll get one from the logo. Or the
Right.
volleyball line, actually, the 10-foot line.
Nice. Not to be all get off my lawn, but in my day, the three-point line was just brand new. So.
I think it came into, what is it, 87?
Yep.
87 is when it was introduced at the high school level.
Yep. my first year playing organized basketball, it came out.
I can't imagine the game without it.
Right now.
Thank you, ABA.
Nice feed.
McNeil, 3-ball, long. I'm going to have viewers wondering, how would he know about the ABA? He didn't exist yet. Here's Lind, who launches the 3. Yes. Lind with a quick 5 off the bench, 11-9 our score. Bass having trouble with the inbound, does find Scott. And Bass was in place there. Remember, you can't straddle the baseline. DeLaSalle coughs it up.
Right.
You can work the baseline after a made basket. I don't know if Bass realized that or if she was just trying to find a target, but if you're having trouble, don't be afraid. On a made basket,
you have the whole
run
baseline
the
tracked.
Baseline.
Yep.
You can't do it on a dead ball, and that happened in an earlier game this season.
Yep.
But I'm up here, they're down there. I don't know what they're thinking.
Yep. Lots of action down there in the post.
Here's another 3.
Yep.
That is the bread and butter of Holy Angels.
Oh, boy.
Buer wins the scramble for the rebound. Pritchard sees a lane.
Yep.
Too strong on the take. Naomi Whitaker-Hill.
Feed the post.
Meister tried to thread it.
Yep. Jump ball.
And the arrow will favor DeLaSalle, but I found that pass a little perplexing because Meister wanted to go inside, but there were 2 stars right there.
Correct.
I don't know if she saw them.
I don't think she did. I think that was there's a play that I want to try to make work, and oops, defenders.
Tried a little of that Brett Favre gunslinger.
Yeah, right.
Because of her football background, you might see a few more football references weave their way into this broadcast, but hopefully you get what we're talking about. Pritchard, that's an offensive foul. Hard to say. It looked like there was a little bit of elbow.
She got planted just in time.
Scott.
Just in time.
And Scott doesn't shy away from contact.
No.
So between that and I thought maybe Pritchard had a little elbow involved in that.
Exactly. Yep.
But Holy Angels gets the ball back, so it's a moot point.
Right.
But Pritchard is hit with her second foul. And so she's out on the floor for now, but she has to be careful. That is Holy Angels, their top post presence. A little side fade to get open for 3.
Oh, nice move.
We see you, Jenna Buer.
Nice one-stepper. Nice.
And there's another example of that high-risk, high-reward defensive approach.
Right. You got to be clean with your hands.
Well, Holy Angels is deep enough where they'll throw caution to the wind in terms of fouling, but it hurt them against Benilde St. Margaret's. I covered that game where 2 of their top players had to sit for a good chunk of the second half because they fouled out. But that harassing pays off that time, and Ella Pritchard goes coast to coast. Again, high risk, high reward. We got both examples of it. Here's another one as Celia Lind gets the poke and the layup.
See if DeLaSalle takes a timeout, try to regroup on this pressure.
Back-to-back buckets for the Stars.
Great break.
DeLaSalle breaks.
Great break.
And Maya McNeil can't finish.
Can't convert.
Oh, you got to make those bunnies.
Sometimes when you're that wide open, yep.
When you're that wide open, sometimes they go in like it did for Jenna Buer.
Yep, for sure.
DeLaSalle breaks again, though. Blaylark gets down in time.
There we go.
But the Stars lead 19-13. Caron.
Carving themselves out a nice little lead here.
Long way to go, though. Elizabeth Pierce. So I should say Ella Pritchard.
I'm going to show my age again. That was a Lindsay Whalen reverse.
That was Pritchard. I got Pritchard and Pierce mixed up. They both start with P, but that was A fine reverse nonetheless. Blaylark in trouble.
Reverse the ball.
McNeil. Swish.
Foot. Oh, he gave her the 3. I thought her foot was on the line.
I thought so too.
Yep.
We've got a sideline camera down there. Can we review it? No, we can't do that.
Instant replay in basketball?
Oh, they use it for state.
Right.
But not at this level. Kaylee Caron
Ooh,
tried to bank it.
Right.
And that is another foul on Pritchard. That's her 3rd, and the Stars out of fouls to give.
In the bonus on the next one. Yep.
And that takes away one of the best interior players for the Stars.
Oh, boy. Oh.
Almost another steal for Charlotte Henry. If you can adjust to the press, you can find yourself with a lot of open looks, as Benilde St. Margaret's did, but it's not easy. McNeil from the other corner.
Nope.
Not that time.
Yes. Possession back to DeLaSalle.
Jordyn Johnson checking in for the Islanders.
Jordyn Johnson
Yep.
with the penetration.
Yep. That's the advantage of having some size down there in the post.
Yeah, she's one of those players, if she gets position inside, you're not moving her.
Yep.
Ooh, lazy pass.
And right back.
Right back to Scott.
The turnover differential on this game is going to be amazing.
I don't know what the differential's going to be. The gross amount is going to be up there.
Yes.
A foul on Blaylark. Was it before the shot?
I think so. I did not see a.
Okay.
Yep.
Side outed.
Yep. Blocking.
You're right. It's just one of those close calls.
Yep.
You're like, okay, let's make sure.
I think
8:30 left. Go ahead.
That was the right call, though. She was the ball handler was still.
I didn't see a shooting motion,
right.
but in situations like that, you just never know.
This is true. We are up here and they are down there.
Kennedy to Buer. And Holy Angels throws it away. 8:15, 3-point game. We've seen some swings back and forth, but overall, the top rivalry in the Tri-Metro playing out as such.
I like this play though. The penetrate and dish. It really it's working for both teams.
More pressure from the Stars. Scott breaks free. Draws the foul.
Yes.
Free throws coming.
Second foul on Elizabeth Pierce.
Scott this season averaging 16.1 points per game, 6.7 rebounds,
Aneisha Scott shooting
and in the open, 4 assists, 4 steals.
And whether you get the points from the line or the floor, it doesn't really matter. They're still points.
Well, and she's proven clutch as a free throw shooter. And that is an intangible I emphasize repeatedly, because you never know when it could come into play, men or women. If you can be a solid free throw shooter, I'm not asking you to make 100 because that's unrealistic, but if you are reliable enough, that can help you in close situations.
Sure can.
And that can help
Good
too.
rebound.
An offensive rebound for Johnson.
Yep. Feed it back in. Yep.
Holy Angels ball.
That might be a function of youth, right? Because you make your power dribble and then go up with it, but if you're not ready for contact, you're not used to it, you're going to lose the ball sometimes.
Right. Most of the youngsters, they've been with DeLaSalle. Jordyn Johnson, the block from behind. But most of the youngsters for DeLaSalle were on varsity last year. 3 of them started in Scott, Johnson, and Meister. Blaylark the newcomer who is making an impact. Lynn thought about it and
Travel.
blocked.
Yep.
That is a classic basketball miscue.
Yep.
It's happened to everybody. You know what you want to do, but
Yep.
you dribble a little too late. Your
Are
feet
you-
move just a little too fast.
I used to set up folding chairs at different points around the floor and practice my one-stepper.
Blaylark to the line for 2.
Yep.
Blaylark's middle name comes from her mother, but she didn't mention what her middle name is. I'll have to ask her. She's also involved in soccer and student council at DeLaSalle.
Love to
She-
see it.
She will play for Minnesota Fury next season, was on the Minnesota Stars Hill team last summer. That did quite well. They had a couple of kids from North Dakota in Aaliyah Bell and Maggie Frick who were astounding athletes. They made a lot of noise at their age level.
Good for another tie game.
Tied at blackjacks. And Holy Angels is saying, hit me. With a 3. Oh, that won't work. But they get the save. And another chance. Kaylee Caron this time.
Nope. There we go.
Jordyn
Ripping a
Johnson.
rebound.
But a lot of pressure. And Jodi, whether it's football or basketball, more so in basketball, but you get a player caught along the sideline and acts as an extra defender.
It sure does. And then you have to almost practice those rescue throws out of that situation.
It doesn't happen as much in football because I realized as I was talking, you don't have to dribble the football.
It's true. That would be really weird.
Considering its oblong shape, I don't think it would end well.
That's why you get fumbles that go 50 yards.
It would be like the crazy bunt in backyard baseball. You
Right.
have no idea where it would go.
Right.
DeLaSalle breaks through another press. Blaylark spin move,
Blocked.
but Carter stayed on top of her. And then DeLaSalle gets the stop. Naomi Whitaker-Hill, no good. Gets her own miss. Looking for a kick-out option, can't. And Holy Angels got to the ball, but
and we'll
it
reset.
touched the baseline.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on this young DeLaSalle team.
Scrappy. Like it. Like it a lot.
Scrappier than Scrappy-Doo, would you say?
Just as. Equal to Scrappy-Doo.
I'm going to hit you with all
Oh.
the references tonight, aren't I?
Oh!
Blaylark gets her own miss. Couple of O boards. Finds Scott. And how about DeLaSalle working the boards? No points
Yep.
out of that possession, though.
No. Again, good ball handling on offense.
And Holy Angels misses a couple of short looks. If one of these teams can get settled in, they could go on a big run.
Absolutely.
Here's a deep 3 for Blaylark.
Oh! Nothing but net.
Because both sides, they know what they want to do, and you can tell they have a high IQ
Yeah.
competence, and that is a
Another,
charge.
yes, absolutely.
Aneisha Scott, that's the second time she's taking
She was ready
contact.
for that one. She's like, oh, she's coming.
Now, Anisha's a sophomore, Jodi, so you have to wait at least a couple of years before you could get her onto the Vixen. I know you're thinking about it. I know you're thinking about it.
You read my mind, sir, because I was like, oh.
But if I'm correct, you have to be 18 or older
You
to
do have to be 18.
eligible for the WFA.
Yes,
Speaking of, the Vixen schedule just dropped.
it did.
We'll talk a little more about that when we get a moment.
Oh.
And Holy Angels, right about now, probably wishes that court was 94 feet and not 84. 94 is the college and pro length because that would have been in bounds.
Right. Oh.
But sloppy inbound pass gives them the ball anyway. DeLaSalle with the 3-point lead. Pierce, the kick out. 3 ball.
Nope.
A little short.
Good rebound. Yep.
Scott, the drive and kick. Whitaker Hill,
Oh.
3-ball corner pocket.
Boy, if the Islanders get going from downtown, this could be an interesting night.
This is their largest lead of the game. And remember, they were up 17 against Benilde St. Margaret's, the current number 1 team in 3A.
Yep.
They have a chance to pad their advantage here. Scott with a little stop and start.
Nope.
Not that time, but
Nope. Little too much on it. Hit the
a
back of
little
the
too
rim.
much. But that was a good move on her part.
Excellent.
Get herself
Excellent
open.
drive. Yep. Nice touch. Nice touch.
That was Vivian Carter with the bucket, and I like to point that out because I say this a lot. Just because a shot doesn't go in doesn't make it a bad play.
Correct.
Maddy Blaylark. She's got 12. Blaylark, the freshman, didn't get a lot of time last year. Buer from the corner. Swish.
Swish.
29-26. And the Stars get the steal. Kaylee Caron.
Can't convert.
Not yet. Jenna Buer can.
There we go. Transition baskets. And
Buer,
now we're a 1-point game again.
Buer with the Baker's dozen. Blaylark again. Feeling confident in her
Wow.
slash, and that's
Close.
why.
Coast to coast.
Back-to-back attacks. Back-to-back buckets for Blaylark. 3-point game again. 31-28. How about this? The freshman Blaylark with 14 points.
Oh, and a steal.
That was Scott. And a timeout.
Smart.
I'm glad they took one because I need a moment to catch my breath. I'm getting tired just watching.
I thought for a second that when Holy Angels went on that earlier run that a timeout might be called by DeLaSalle, but I like it. I like letting them struggle through.
And sometimes Latoya Turca, another partner of mine, not here, she loves to cover DeLaSalle games, so she brings this up. Holy Angels is like this too. They're not quick with the timeouts. They like to see how their players handle adversity because at some point you're going to face it.
Absolutely. I think resiliency, no matter what sport you're playing, is the key to making it deep into the postseason.
And since we do have a stoppage, as I said, the Vixen dropped their schedule a few days ago.
Yes.
First season in WFA Pro. So, Jodi, what are you most excited about as you get ready for your 26th season?
25th.
25th.
Thank you.
Okay. Well,
You
that was
keep
close.
Every time we talk, you add one more.
Next time it'll be the 27th. But what are you excited about?
I'm excited about getting to play St. Louis again twice.
The Slam?
The Slam. I was hoping we were going to get Pittsburgh or Boston in the regular season, but we're not. We'll have to wait for playoffs to see them. But it's going to be a really great year. There's some really exciting stuff. We have an official regular season broadcast partner, Women's Sports Network, so it's going to be a great season.
It's a shame you couldn't get Boston because given the history between the two
Yes.
of you, it would be like, well, what Bills-Bengals was supposed to be on Monday,
Yes.
or all the other high-profile matchups.
Oh, she stepped out.
And that's the third time Holy Angels has been caught on the baseline like that in this half. And you don't keep
Interesting.
track of that stat specifically, but I've noticed that baseline has snuck up on them 3 times
It
now.
has.
Floor awareness is key.
Yeah.
Jordyn Johnson,
Nice.
tough angle, but makes it work.
Nice. Using her size to get position. Great move.
And the Islanders up by 5. Pierce. 3 no good, and nobody underneath for Holy Angels, so DeLaSalle gets a rebound out of it.
Aneisha Scott pushing it.
McNeil.
Downtown. Good rebound.
Johnson, I don't know. I think she was caught mid-decision there.
Yes. Sometimes you're not sure which shot you're going to select, and then
Or what her body language, it would seem like she was trying to figure out if she wanted to pass or shoot and couldn't decide on one.
Correct. And then the ball went somewhere.
It went whee! Okay, I might be exaggerating a little bit.
Right, I didn't hear a wee.
You heard a wubba, 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 woo, woo, woo.
Yeah.
That is a deep cut reference. If anyone picks up on that, let me know. Kira O'Rourke goes to the line. Well, Jodi might have some time to figure out what I'm talking about because we'll get a moment or two.
I am going to have to Google that. You've finally stumped me on a pop culture reference.
That could be the only time that ever happens. Remember this date, January 6, 2023. Kira O'Rourke to the line. How is she doing? 10.2 points per game. There is a game going on. But as you can tell, Jodi and I, this is not our first game together.
It's good. 4 points with 2.5 before halftime.
33-29, and free throws coming for the Islanders.
Yep.
That was a foul on Kennedy, and that will send Beelan Samuels, the 5'7 junior, to the line.
Possibly some floor burn on that one, too.
Samuels hasn't scored a lot, just 6 points entering this game. Well, floor burn, turf burn. You haven't played until you get one of those, right?
Yep.
And there are a few players who get banged up on the chin. By the way, DeLaSalle, the double bonus. So 2 free throws the rest of the way. And Holy Angels, just like the other games we've covered, they've got several players with 2 fouls. They'll have to be mindful of that as the game continues.
Too hard on both free throws.
Usually, and not always, but I've noticed you can tell which players have touch at the free throw line and which are trying to find it. Someone like Scott and Blaylark, there's just something about that arc.
Yes. But that also comes from a million practice shots. When you're that comfortable at the free throw line, that means that you've spent some time there perfecting that motion.
Kira O'Rourke will spend a little more time after she drew the foul, split her last time up. It's been back and forth. Both teams have traded swings and leads in the first of 2 meetings. This is maybe not the top conference rivalry in the state, but it's up there in the upper echelon.
Yes.
This
goes out on Holy Angel's knee.
Providence Minnehaha, that's another one that is always fun to watch, and just about any game in the lake. Hopkins, Wayzata, Eden Prairie, St. Michael Albertville with Tessa Johnson going to South Carolina.
I forget, is there
Minnetonka.
Is the conference made of the private religious schools, or
no? They're not. Not exclusively. I'll explain in a moment.
Yeah.
Aneisha Scott.
Nice little jumper.
Gets the bank off the
glass. Nice little layup.
The Tri-Metro has a combination of public and private schools. There are some that are private only, but there's no designation.
Ooh,
as Holy
little
Angels
too
throws
much.
it away.
Little too much.
Benilde St. Margaret's another example of that. They play in the Metro West, and I believe they're the only private school. And Totino Grace plays in the Northwest Suburban, the only private school in that group. So there is no separation. Everyone is in the same class, so we don't have a public and private school division, and I'm kind of glad we don't have one.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. I mean, if the attendance is up there, I don't see why you should.
Well, and you know what? I'll continue this in a moment. Let's see what Holy Angels does after they get the steal.
Nice transition.
Buer for 3.
Looks good.
Yes.
Yep. Is that her third?
Fourth. 16 points, 4 triples. And it's a 2-point game. Meister doubled, finds McNeil, goes up, was swatted by O'Rourke. It stays with DeLaSalle. Scott fakes it. Blaylark.
We'll take it.
Bullseye.
Yes. I'm loving this downtown shooting. I love it.
And that is Blaylark's third 3. 38-33 with 50 seconds. Lind with the pump fake. Yes.
Oh, nice. Nice touch.
Lind with 9 off the bench. Celia playing well. DeLaSalle with numbers again. Meister from 15.
Nope.
In and out.
Good follow.
McNeil darts underneath. And Meister will finish.
Yes. Great board action for the Islanders.
This is a notable first half here for DeLaSalle as they try to get an upset win. And free throws coming for Lynn. That gives me a chance to finish up the conversation. You hear this a lot in hockey and sometimes from other knuckleheads, I guess, how they should separate public and private schools. But if you did that, then you would gripe about, well, who the real state champion is.
Right, exactly, right.
Ultimately, I don't get into those conversations a whole lot because we're talking about youth sports. There are bigger things in the world out there than which high school is the best.
Well,
and every one of them has a story if you're willing to look for it.
Exactly, and athletes are athletes, regardless of what it costs them to go to school every day.
Yeah, I keep doing this because I like to share stories and meet people. I don't have a say in who wins or how it should go. Linda's one of two at the line. She's got 10. DeLaSalle with time for one more shot. 5 seconds.
Get it in.
Blaylark pulls up.
Oh.
Not a bad move,
Nope.
but still a good half for the Islanders. They lead 40-36. And Maddy Blaylark, 17 points. The freshman looking slick.
One thing about Holy Angels, they've got a hand in every passing lane, no matter what. And even though the ball's gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, it's a testament to how aggressive and ball savvy both teams are.
I can't wait to see what happens in the second half as DeLaSalle looks for their biggest win of the season. Holy Angels looks to start the calendar year with a win over a key conference rival. Jodi and I will have the second half for you when we return. You're watching high school girls basketball. DeLaSalle leads Holy Angels by 4.
Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting, and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves.
Holloman, good if it goes. Yes!
Game winners.
From James. She's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in!
And everything in between.
Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. That put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching.
Mike Peden and Jodi Rehlander back with you at Holy Angels, where the Stars and the Islanders are engaged in another edition of the Tri-Metro Conference rivalry. DeLaSalle leads Holy Angels 40-36. Maddy Blaylark with 17 points to lead the Islanders. 16 points for Jenna Buer to lead the Stars. It's emerging into a battle between those two guards, Jodi.
Absolutely. Shooting from everywhere and anywhere, downtown, inside the paint. I'm really interested to see how the Islanders hold up. They've had a couple of games this year, it sounds like, where they've been up or ahead by some significant amounts and then just couldn't finish. So let's see if they can do that today.
I do have to ask you if you found out what reference I was talking about, if you're still looking that up.
Google has failed me so far, but I will get there.
Well, if you have any more trouble, I might reveal the answer at the end of the game. But what's at stake? It's getting a leg up in the conference. Holy Angels and DeLaSalle typically have led the way. And winning the conference, it doesn't get you an automatic bid to tournaments like it does in college, but it does get you some positioning when it comes to section or state tournament seeding. Winning the conference carries a little more weight.
Holy Angels definitely trying some things tonight, seeing what works.
Pritchard was hounded. Remember, she has 3 fouls. Meister from the corner.
No. Oh.
I'm not used to seeing her take shots from long range. Does a lot more work inside.
Interesting. Tried to follow her shot, but just couldn't get in front of the...
Kaylee, Caron. That went off the shot clock.
Shot clock. Yep.
So that does not count. And now we have an official term.
Structural interference. I love it.
They like to have fun at Holy Angels. I've done a lot of football and basketball games here.
You have definitely got to make sure that your body or something is protecting your pass against Holy Angels. There they go again.
Pritchard with the swipe. And the coast-to-coast finish. Remember, with her 3 fouls, she couldn't play a whole lot in the first half. We'll see how her presence impacts the second half here. Jordyn Johnson again, a little too strong.
Hard, yep.
Meister, though, was there. Now she's in trouble.
Lost it, yep.
Buer with a step on the competition. Caron no good. Kaylee, she's been
and a
struggling.
foul.
Kaylee's been struggling in the games I've seen this season, but they will get free throws here. And Jenna Buer is not struggling. Buer with 12.8 points per game. It's a little strange to see Kaylee having a rough go of it because she's at 12.1.
And nothing so far tonight.
Jenna Buer, though, having
Holding it
herself
down.
a game.
Holding it down, yep.
Taylor Starks checking in for the Islanders.
And she splits. Jodi, Holy Angels has split every time they have gone to
Really?
the line. They are 4 of 8.
Huh. There they go again. Hands in the passing lanes.
It's Pritchard once again.
Pushing it. Oh,
And Aneisha Scott pokes her arm in there to stop the fast break play.
technically this is just really good hand-eye coordination, but it's impressive to watch all these pokes and steals.
Caron trying to make her stroke work. Still nothing. It's frustrating to watch, but you hear this all the time. You got to keep shooting.
Yep, it's true. Shoot till you're on.
Otherwise, you take yourself out of the game, and Holy Angels gets another steal.
Yep.
Here's a three from Buer or Warwick.
Woo! And Stars back in the lead.
42-40.
I don't know if Jordyn Johnson's getting a little tired, but the last couple, and there's another one where she just wasn't able to hold possession.
Another turnover forced by Holy Angels, and nobody
Nobody
covering
home.
Kaylee Caron. There's a timeout.
There's a timeout. I thought that might be the case.
Kaylee Caron, one of 5 sisters in the Caron household. Her nickname is Smalls, even though she's not that small.
Is she the youngest, though?
No, there's
Okay.
a younger one, Keisha. Her big sister, Cassie, was a big part of this Holy Angels program. Of course, now she's playing at Missouri Western. And her family, big superhero, pop culture fans. Marvel, Star Wars, you name it.
Yeah, you got to
They're
wonder
into
if
it.
that's a Sandlot reference then.
What?
You got to wonder if Smalls is a Sandlot reference.
Possibly.
Yeah. You're killing me, Smalls.
Possibly. A couple New Years ago, her family watched Avengers Endgame and set it up to where midnight would occur.
When Iron Man snaps.
Well,
Yep.
when the Hulk snapped the first
Oh,
time.
the Hulk. Got it. Okay.
When,
Interesting.
yes, when
Okay.
Hulk snapped everyone back into existence.
Got it.
It was their second option. Their first choice was to binge watch the Star Wars Skywalker saga. That didn't quite work.
Gotcha.
That's a pretty long commitment, though. 9 movies.
Right. You got to wonder if DeLaSalle might think about taking advantage of Holy Angel's aggressiveness on the ball and start pump faking to get them to leave their feet or declare their moves.
That is another turnover.
Yeah, I'm
as
not
the Stars
sure.
lead 44-40. Kaylee Caron.
Oh,
Rebound Blaylark. And remember, DeLaSalle got in the bonus pretty early in the first half. Here's Whitaker Hill. Her three is no good.
Good rebound. Oh.
Taylor Starks threw it up a little too quick, and then Jordyn Johnson hit with the foul there. Just her first, but not the foul you want.
Yep.
Right now, though, it seems like Holy Angels playing the aggressor. DeLaSalle, like you're saying, use those pump fakes or just find a way to get a step, because the way Holy Angels takes chances on defense, as we saw,
Yes.
it can lead to a lot of steals, but it can also rack up fouls.
Yes. And DeLaSalle looking just a little sloppy right now. Passes aren't quite as crisp. Shots aren't quite as strong.
Pritchard.
Blocked.
Whitaker Hill got a piece of it.
Yep.
There was some contact, but I didn't see anything there. Jordyn Johnson able to get the stop.
Nice little hesitation.
Well, and there's an example of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If you can use that quickness to get a step on Holy Angels, that gives you a good chance to at least either get an opening or go to the line. And Pierce is hit with her third personal foul. Whitaker Hill, she's one of the players, again, you can kind of tell who's worked on their free throw mechanics and who is still working on them.
Yes. It's always a work in progress.
Well, and I say this a lot because you never know when you'll need them.
Right.
Latoya, my fellow colleague, would say you want to aim for the mid-70s, at least.
Yes.
Holy Angels swings it around, then tries to go inside, but Pritchard got a lot of coverage on the entry pass. Here's Whitaker Hill. Tried to force it in.
Yep. She's dead. She's dead. Yep.
Long two.
Oh, long two. Nope.
And a dead ball rebound.
Yes. And what I meant by she's dead there was that she'd picked up her dribble and had to pass it. Was not wishing harm on any player.
I picked up on that. Right. When you use up the dribble, then you're stuck.
Yes.
Trapped. Caught in a bind. In a pickle. Blaylark.
There we
DeLaSalle
go.
breaks.
There we go.
Slight hesitation, but Taylor Stark's able to lay it in.
She felt the pressure and let it go by. Great move.
That was the first field goal of the half for the Islanders. And remember, they've answered Holy Angels runs before.
Yep.
Scott almost got the reach to work in her favor, needed a little more space.
Again, love the scrappiness. That's always my favorite kind of player.
Well, that's what you'll get out of Aneisha Scott. She's done that as a freshman for DeLaSalle. Did the same thing for the city. She moved to Metro Stars for the upcoming AAU season. Touch three for Jenna. Buer.
Oh, nice.
Three more.
Nice.
Buer's got 20, but Blaylark gets open.
Oh,
Count
and the
it.
hurt. Hoop in the hurt. Love it.
Like we said before, if you can break the press,
Points.
you get an odd woman look on the other end.
So far, Holy Angels trying to run away with it, applying that pressure, but Islanders responding. Converts to the three-point play.
The freshman with 20 points. Buer in trouble.
Yep.
Starks has the ball, but nowhere to
Oh.
go. No, it went off a Holy Angels player. Blaylark, by the way, with that three-point play, has her first 20-point game this season.
Hey,
Her previous best was 18.
milestone.
She's looking to add
Nice.
3 more.
Yes! Great little designed inbounds play. Converted.
Blaylark with 23. And DeLaSalle retakes the lead. Holy Angels says not for
Nope.
long.
Buer for 2.
Buer with 22. We are getting quite the battle between the junior and the freshman. A lob pass inside for Starks,
Yep.
broken up by Holy Angels. And I think the Holy Angels fans in attendance have picked up on who the hot hand is.
And I would like to see DeLaSalle be a little bit more aggressive in the paint. I think if they were stronger on catching some of those feed passes, they'd have some more points.
That's where Jordyn Johnson could be useful, but she's on the bench right now.
Right.
Side out for the Islanders. 11:56 to go.
That's at least the 5th time number 10 has made the ball go where it's not supposed to.
Kira O'Rourke,
Yep.
deflections. Deflections matter. Taylor Starks, no good. O'Rourke. Pritchard couldn't handle the pass, but Holy Angels recovers.
Collapse. Yep.
O'Rourke, the driving kick. Kaylee, Caron still can't get a 3 to drop. And then a foul.
Yeah.
Well, Jodi, here's a little history lesson for you. These two have a proud history. Holy Angels with a couple of state championships in girls basketball, 1975 and 2016. DeLaSalle won 3 in a row in 2011, 12, and 13, and then won it again in 2019.
Love the tradition.
There's a lot of it. Blaylark with the pump fake finds Aneisha Scott.
Oh, can't fit. Oh, and a rebound.
Jump ball. DeLaSalle with the arrow.
Yep.
Nifty move there on Blaylark to hook up with
Absolutely.
Scott. Just couldn't get the finish there. And again, another example of just because a shot doesn't go in,
It wasn't the wrong
Right.
one. Yeah.
make
Yep.
a missed shot does not make the play a bad one.
Right.
Whoa, I thought we were going to get another
I
jump.
thought so too.
DeLaSalle wrestled control of it. McNeil gets the 3.
Nope.
Short.
Short.
49-48. Now DeLaSalle bringing some pressure initially.
Yep.
O'Rourke
Yep.
is hacked,
Yeah.
and she will shoot 2.
That's a smart foul. I'm not mad at that.
Taylor Starks picks up her first foul, 3rd for DeLaSalle.
10:54 left in the second half. 1-point game. Holy Angels looking to stay on the accelerator in the Tri-Metro. DeLaSalle hoping to get an upset win.
Johnson back in for DeLaSalle.
And let's see how that impacts or influences the interior. You mentioned they were missing some of that post presence.
Yep. Some of that power down in the post. We'll see.
Jodi, I don't know if this is a record, but Holy Angels has been to the line 5 times.
Huh.
All 5 times they've split.
I wouldn't say record, but definitely a quirk.
That is weird.
Definitely a quirk. Ooh. What?
Johnson got the ball first and draws the foul. And if it's on Pierce, that is her 4th. Yes.
Yep.
And this goes back to that aggressive approach Holy Angels adopts on defense. They have the contingent to do it without affecting their playmaking. Maddy, Blaylark, DeLaSalle continuing to dash with those O-boards, but a block from Pritchard.
Yep.
Pierce staying on the floor for now. Carter to Pierce. Pritchard walled off by Johnson.
Oh, yep.
And there's another
Another
deflection,
poke.
another poke, another
poke.
arm.
Yep. Another arm
What'd
in
you
the
call-
passing lane.
Another arm, yes.
Yep.
I don't know what you called it with O'Rourke, but another disruption.
Yep. Another poke. Another little poke.
Touch, disruption,
Yep.
contact.
Redirection.
How many synonyms? How many synonyms can we throw out in this? Forget the stat sheet. We need a thesaurus.
One thing I will say about this game It has been go, go, go the entire time. Neither
Aneisha
team.
Scott looking to do. Nope, that's a walk.
Yep.
This
can't-
happens from time to time on a drive. You sometimes drag your feet the way characters from the Hanna-Barbera cartoon sometimes did.
Yep. And then you try to pivot and you use the wrong foot or move it. It's tough. Yeah.
Pierce gets a step on Johnson and will shoot free throws. Pierce is looking for a college to call home, has gotten a few offers. Came over from Christopher Jesuit a couple years ago where she was the leading scorer. And the coaches, when I talked to them, said they were able to get someone like Pierce from the start. Maybe her profile goes up a bit, but making the most of it. And the Stars lead by 3. 9:46 left in the second half. A little choppier second half here.
A little bit. It's not been one way or the other.
Holy Angels takes the timeout. They'll have 4 left. 9:46 to go, and the Stars lead by 4. Again, these two will meet February 7th. And looking ahead, Holy Angels, I would argue, has a tougher schedule. They get Cloquet on Martin Luther King Day. Cloquet in the top 10 in 3A. Other non-conference games include Stillwater, a team that maybe not as strong as they were in the Sarah Scalia years, but still a solid group. And they end the regular season with Providence Academy. That's the team that has Madden Greenway, Ari Peterson, and the Count sisters.
I think one of the neatest things as a female athlete is to know how many names there are now to talk about that were here and have gone on to success at higher levels. That wasn't the case not that many years ago, not pretty recently. That wasn't the case, that you didn't have a Paige Buckers or a Lindsay Whalen to reference in these conversations.
Well, a couple of names from these two schools on Holy Angels: Laura Bagwell-Katalinik, an architect of the 2016 championship team. Susan King, 3,000-point scorer, Miss Basketball 2000, the same year Lindsay Whalen graduated from high school. Whalen was third-team All-Metro, by the way, in the Star Tribune. I think it might go a little differently if they got to rerun it. DeLaSalle gets across. They can't break the press, though. Bounce pass inside to Johnson, and she'll shoot 2.
Yep.
And on the DeLaSalle side, no superstars per se, but several D1 athletes to come out of there. Tyshana Johnson and Alina Starr. They were the dynamic duo from 10 years ago. More recently, NJ Weems, who's now playing at Lamar. Keani Lockett played at DeLaSalle for a couple of years. He's playing at Creighton. Savannah White is now at Wisconsin.
It's just so great that the opportunities are there now.
And the Francois sisters, Nora and Mary Claire. Nora playing at New Orleans, got to face off against her old teammate in NJ Weems. Jordyn Johnson makes both free throws, so it's a 2-point game again. Remember, Pierce still has 4 fouls. Here comes a 3 from Lynn, short. Rebound was tipped to Pierce, and it will stay with Holy Angels.
Kira Rourke back into the game for Holy Angels.
52-50. 9:18 to go.
See if Holy Angels can expand their lead a little bit.
You've got 2 players with season highs in Buer and Blaylark. And here's Pritchard, who draws the contact.
Sometimes if you know you're a good free throw shooter, it's worth it just to press the lane and see if you can get fouled.
Exactly, because I'd say more often than not, the call will work out in your favor. Johnson tagged with a 3rd foul. It's a matter of confidence in your stroke, but also agility. Pritchard's been getting better in the offensive side. Last year, she was primarily a rebounding presence, not known as a scorer. averaging 9.2, so no slouch there this year, but the offense has taken a little time to manifest. Splits there to make it a 3-point game. Blaylark to Scott. That's a still Bass. And that is the last foul to give for Holy Angels. And DeLaSalle with just one to give.
Took a little bit longer the second half to get there, but they are in the bonus.
Estelle Bass, by the way, isn't the biggest name on the DeLaSalle roster in terms of her stat line, but she is a trained pianist. Classically trained since the age of 3. Johnson.
Yeah,
Scrappy with a capital S.
Yes. And one.
And she can make it an even game here. And remember, Holy Angels already in the penalty. And that's the 4th on Pritchard. And Pritchard
And they're still
making a mark in the second half. If she goes early, that could spell trouble.
and there's still a lot of time left in this second half for Holy Angels to be in foul trouble like this.
And Jordyn Johnson, the 6'1 sophomore, I haven't seen a lot of her, at least at the free throw line, but she's got a soft touch there. You like to see it. A steal for the Islanders. Blaylark one-on-one with O'Rourke. Kira stays on top of her. Blaylark, not the tallest presence at 5'6". O'Rourke had a few inches on her.
There's another time for that that pump fake. Get your opponent in the air.
Right. And you see that so often on fast breaks like that. Let the defender blow by. Over time, she might develop that move. But it's still Islanders ball. Whitaker Hill left that one short, and we remain tied. Remember, Pierce and Pritchard both have 4 fouls. Buer's shot off the heel. Estelle Bass with the rebound. Buer dashed to her position. Lind, 3 off the back iron.
Tie game.
Holy Angels opting not to press there. Running more of a set. Oh boy.
Oh,
Scott
wow.
with the deep bomb.
Oh, wow. She was wide open. I don't blame her for taking it.
It goes back to what we were talking about, the 3-point game. Such a huge element.
Yep.
And Pritchard going back to the line.
See who they call it on. Number 1.
That's just the first on Bass. Pritchard with 9 points, 3 of 4 at the line.
Pritchard's free throw form also leaves a little bit to be desired.
And not everyone comes out of the womb shooting 80% at the line. It's one
true.
of those things. How about this?
Oh.
They get the 2 points anyway. Buer, who already has a season high, is up to 24.
Buer's having a game.
DeLaSalle breaks. Blaylark.
Nice. That's how you break
Money.
a press. That's how you break a press.
And Maddy Blaylark has been reliable just about every time DeLaSalle has broken the press. Another foul. Ella Pritchard using that first step of hers, or at least getting one. That's, I think, the 3rd time.
Well, she knows she's got the step on Johnson.
Right, and I think that's the 2nd or 3rd time she has gone in, making use of
the speed difference.
Right, the quickness. Yep. But she struggled a bit at the free throw line here.
There she goes.
Gets that one to drop.
Yep.
She's shooting 50%, which is about where Holy Angels is. Actually, both teams around 500. And I know I discuss this a lot. Some of you viewers might be sick of it. But years ago, the Kansas-Memphis game in 2008 put a spotlight on that. Blaylark blocked again by O'Rourke. And Holy Angels has a wide open look, and they'll get free throws out of it.
Yep.
DeLaSalle looking a little flat-footed here as of late, defensively.
Yep. Slim 1-point lead. See if they can catch the lead at the line.
Celia Lynn to the line. And Lynn, averaging 8.1 on a few occasions, has been the leading scorer for the Stars. And to finish up the conversation on free throws, there was a New York Times story after the Kansas-Memphis game from 2008, which Kansas won in overtime because Memphis couldn't hit their free throws.
Right.
On average, free throws account for 20% of a team's points, so it doesn't always get addressed. It's not the sexiest way to score, but you never know when you'll need them.
Exactly. It's like special teams in football. If you neglect it, it will come back to bite you in the end.
You just never know when it will happen. So, if I were coaching a team, I would make sure I put together some sharpshooters
Yes.
for those foul and chase situations.
Yes. We used to have free throw practice shooting contests at the end of practices in high school. You had to make 5, and you got to go on 5 in a row. And then we'd just keep going until someone couldn't make 5 in a row.
Well, Lynn made both there, so I don't know if I would pick her as someone to bet against.
Right.
And it's a 1-point lead for the Stars, 59-58, 6:52 to go. Lynn with 12 off the bench, and Jenna Buer with 24. She had a couple of 20-point games last season. And
She's been the
one of
glue
the-
for,
right, and-
for Holy Angels tonight.
Buer emblematic of Holy Angels in the sense that they don't always have superstars, but they have athletes. And a lot of multi-sport participation, and that extends to the head coach, Dan Woods, who's also on the coaching staff for Holy Angels football.
Gotcha.
So he's coached the likes of Laura Bagwell-Katalinic, Frankie Vassalero in basketball, and Larry Fitzgerald in football, and Emma Johnson, last year's Mr. Football.
That's a pretty good pedigree.
He has lots of stories. He and I, we always end up talking for too long. Not because there's a limit, but it's because we both have to get ready for the game.
Right.
No, he's always got a story to share, and it's always fun to catch up with him. Let's see how the rest of this game plays out. Kaylee Caron, short again. This is just not Kaylee Caron's day.
No. Not for lack of shooting. She's had several good looks and several attempts.
And there's a foul. That will send Jordyn Johnson to the line for Kaylee Caron. This is another older reference her parents would pick up. It feels like a bit like Susan Lucci. What do I have to do to get one to drop?
All my children. Nice. Nice. Well
If
done.
you're wondering why I brought that up, Lucci was nominated 18 times for a Daytime Emmy before she finally won on her 19th
Yes.
nomination. Here's Jordyn Johnson. Blanks. So it's a 1-point lead for the Stars. Lynn looking to add to that. Her three's off the heel, but the high carom goes to O'Rourke.
And again.
And DeLaSalle will let it go out of bounds for a dead ball rebound. 6:08 left. I think we may have a photo finish on our hands.
Seems that way. DeLaSalle's shown no sign of bending under this pressure.
Pritchard, remember, has 4 fouls, still on the floor. And you saw her back away there on Scott. Another tip pass.
Yep.
DeLaSalle having some difficulties. Now Johnson has one-on-one coverage. That is, I think they wanted to get to Johnson,
Yes. Get that mismatch.
but right, they got the one-on-one coverage as opposed to the last time.
Yep.
That's just the second foul on Carter, but Jordyn Johnson to the line for 2. And Jordyn Johnson missed some time due to a sprained ankle, and she's coming up a little long on these free throws as of late. She was looking good earlier, but she's averaging 9.6 points per game.
Well, as you get tired and late in the game, fatigue definitely sets in. on a set shot.
9.6 points, 7.4 rebounds, but it's DeLaSalle who gets the O board. The question is, who's going to step up in the clutch here?
Yep.
That's the player you don't want to foul,
Yep.
because Aneisha Scott entering this game was close to 80% at the line. And it's double bonus the rest of the way for DeLaSalle.
Yes, it is.
DeLaSalle's in the double bonus, 2 shots for number 12, Aneisha Scott.
Aneisha Scott, I think she has a bright future ahead of this sport. Oh boy.
Yep. In and out.
But looking back at what she accomplished as a freshman, stepping up in big-time situations despite not a lot of experience.
Sometimes leadership is thrust upon you.
If I may borrow or tweak a line from Kaylee, great men or women do not seek power, they have it thrust upon them.
Right.
DeLaSalle gets the stop. McNeil was considering a 3. Might go for it this time on the line.
Here's a ball.
Tie game. Pritchard.
Nope, too much. Too much.
No good. Loose ball down low.
Jump. Jump. Yep, jump ball.
It took a moment. I don't think anyone had
Right.
possession of it.
It was squirreling around there.
And based on my limited understanding of the rules, you can't have a jump ball until someone touches it.
Correct. Correct.
You can't call the ball can't call a jump by itself.
Correct.
So Holy Angels keeps it on the arrow as we have a tie game. Pritchard, baseline J, long.
Good rebound.
You wonder how much fatigue is affecting these two.
Hard to say.
DeLaSalle ball, because we've seen a choppy second half, not as much efficiency offensively.
Right. And another poke for O'Rourke.
O'Rourke did get the deflection. Who's got enough gas to get to the finish? Whitaker Hill. Kaylee Caron tries to bait Scott.
Great job by DeLaSalle to get back on defense.
Here's Buer for 3.
Way downtown.
Off the front iron. But Pierce gets the O-board.
Again.
Another chance.
Yep, there
Buer.
you go. Every point's going to be critical now.
At this stage of the game. Blaylark with a big-time answer. The P announcer's loving this.
Absolutely. This is an announcer's dream. Tight game like this.
Absolutely. Blocking
Blocking
foul.
foul. Interesting. Yep. Didn't quite get her feet set to take that
Blaylark,
charge.
she'll pick up her 3rd. But you know what? Pritchard, she's been a little shaky at the line. So if you go by the math, not the worst foul in the world.
Right.
Pritchard's been shooting, I think, 5 of 8.
Nope.
But on the scouting report, probably not someone you would say is a marksman.
Right.
And again, I don't mean that to demean any player, because there is an art and it takes time and practice and repetition to make it work.
Some people are just better at it than others, or have spent the time practicing. Yes.
But Pritchard does get a split there. More importantly, that gives Holy Angels the lead with 3:29 left.
The lead.
The rest of the way, both teams effectively in the double bonus.
Yep. DeLaSalle has the arrow.
And I believe Holy Angels has 2 timeouts left. They do. DeLaSalle with 3. 3:29 to go. Jodi, this is one heck of a debut for
Right?
basketball broadcasting.
I seem to be good luck for you for having an interesting game.
Well, at the very least, you're good for pop culture references or two. It's hard when you're by yourself and have to come up with all of these things on the fly. But DeLaSalle, the production they've gotten out of Maddy Blaylark, she had a little bit of a lull in the second half, but 28 points, an incredible showing for the freshman.
That's a great night, no matter what, but definitely clutch on a night like tonight.
Will she be called upon here? And don't forget, Aneisha Scott, she only has 11 points.
She's been the field marshal on the court tonight, though. There are many times that DeLaSalle would not have had a possession if it weren't for Scott.
And Scott, a capable scorer herself. Meister flips it
Put
in.
it in.
She leaked open, and the pass was a little soft, but Meister makes the recovery.
Yep.
Buer going across.
Blocked.
Blaylark picks it up. And now the Islanders with a 1-point lead. Johnson, one-on-one. Got it.
Put it in.
Johnson for 2.
Still a one-possession game. A 3 would tie it. And we know Holy Angels has shooters. Pritchard will take the 3.
Yep. No good.
I don't know if that's the player I'd want for a 3 there, but it worked out for the Islanders. And then Scott, I don't know if she sensed Caron or not, but just kind of waltzed into her.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes you do, because I don't want to underestimate peripheral vision.
Well, it's like the
But free throw's coming for Scott.
It's like the inadvertent contact for a corner and a wide receiver, right? It happens, but in basketball, you're probably going to call the foul.
Little different in football.
Yeah.
The officials will consider if there was an advantage to be gained either way. But more importantly, Scott makes it a 2-possession game. And DeLaSalle closing in on
Clutch.
what would be their biggest win of the season if they can hang on. Kaylee, Caron, nothing there. And
As-
DeLaSalle, they could work the clock if they wish.
Scott's smart to slow it down there. Yep.
Backdoor play for Scott, but nowhere to go.
Great
Meister is
rebound.
there.
Oh, clutch on the boards for DeLaSalle. That's an amazing play.
And with that, 4 DeLaSalle players have double digits.
We were talking about finishing earlier tonight, and I think we're seeing DeLaSalle trying real hard.
Holy Angels, they've got a chance here. They're not done yet.
Oh, she stepped out.
O'Rourke stepped on the baseline. That's the 4th time
Wow. So
following a rebound where they got caught on the baseline like that.
Yep. That'll drive a coach nuts. That's just details.
We've talked about floor awareness, and that is a key element. DeLaSalle, they could drop the dagger here.
And they do.
Jordyn Johnson again, 13 for Jordyn. Quick 3 for Buer off the mark, and
DeLaSalle recovers.
it was tied at 62.
And suddenly DeLaSalle just ran away.
10-1 run for the Islanders. Blaylark throws it away.
Yep, can't
A
get
little
lazy. Little too lackadaisical.
And Pritchard
Yep.
comes up short. Holy Angels, they're running out of gas.
Yep.
Timeout Islanders.
Okay. Yep.
Jodi,
My goodness.
Jodi, this is the type of game that could change some discussions here in 3A. DeLaSalle was off to a rocky start.
Yes, 4-4.
Including a loss to Robbinsdale Cooper. Now, Cooper is a team on the rise. And remember, they were up 17 on Benilde St. Margaret's. Even though they didn't get the win there, if they can get the job done with Holy Angels, if they can hold on for the final 56 seconds, that is going to be a huge confidence booster in their ability to close out games.
Absolutely. And it's going to cause Holy Angels to do a little bit of gut checking. feels like more of a blip than a trend, having just this one game to go off of.
Well, the Holy Angels, they've taken lumps before, but they're
Yeah.
usually in the conversation. Dan Wood said every game is prepping for that section final, knowing
Right.
he could get Benilde St. Margaret's again.
Right.
A team that right now is number 1 in 3A, but
Right.
DeLaSalle, he told me beforehand, this is not a pushover team. He knew going in, this is a team that could hang with the top programs. And Dan Woods has been around a long time, so he's not going to make any crazy proclamations about who wins or loses. You know this, Jodi, as an athlete. It's all about execution.
Yep.
DeLaSalle just eating up
fouled.
time.
Yep.
Kaylee, Caron picking
And
up
Myatt
her
McNeil to the line. Well, this is going to change things for the Islanders. It's going to, I don't know if it'll vault them back into the top 10 if they can get this win as they're about to here.
It'll definitely, as you say, put them back into some different conversations.
Well, it will certainly make them perhaps a favorite again in their section. How they fare with visitation will be interesting.
Oh, and Holy Angels just threw it away.
DeLaSalle, though, they're going to want to work on the free throw percentage. They were
Yes.
12 of 28,
Yes.
and they're going to grind their way to a win here, but I imagine that's going to be a focal point in the next practice session. But what a huge leap in leadership.
There we go. She was trying to foul, but couldn't get there.
What a huge leap, though, for leadership stamina for this young group.
Exactly. To hang in there against an octopus-like team like Holy Angels. Yeah.
Well, and you have a lot of experience, but again, not a lot of experience, but not at the same time is what I'm
Right.
trying to say.
Right.
'Cause
Youth.
Scott, Meister, Johnson, they all played a lot of minutes last year. Blaylark, though, kind of the newcomer to the group, and just one senior on this team.
There we go.
Scott,
11 points.
money at the line. She's got 15. A pedestrian game for her by her standards, but Maddy Blaylark with the game of her young varsity career. DeLaSalle, it was tied at 62. They're going to end this game. Uh-oh.
Oh, boy.
And DeLaSalle, I think, trying to encourage their fans, shake it off. Let's focus on the positive that's about to befall us here.
Yep.
A big win over a conference rival. These two
Well-
split the series last year.
And emotions always get so high, higher than usual when it's your rival. So absolutely.
Against a team, right. The players are different every year, but anytime you have a conference game, emotions go up a notch, but we got settled in. No technicals, none of that. And the DeLaSalle bench, props to them for putting the focus back on this accomplishment for the Islanders. As Blaylark will not get a 30-point game tonight, but it won't matter. DeLaSalle ends the game
Wow.
on a 13-1
Wow.
run to score a 75-63 upset win over Holy Angels.
And I want to say it was Blaylark's 3 from way downtown to answer the last 3 from Holy Angels.
Celia Lynn, that's right.
Yes, that really started to turn the tide
Or
for.
I think it was O'Rourke who hit the 3, but you're right. Blaylark
Yeah.
responded with that deep bomb,
Yep.
and that did play a part in this comeback as
Yep.
DeLaSalle, they're celebrating.
Absolutely.
We'll try to get a word with some of the players as DeLaSalle picks up their biggest win of the year when we return. This is high school girls basketball. DeLaSalle goes to 5-4 with a 75-63 win.